Hi.
Oh my God.
So first of all, I've been saying this now, I said this like 50 times while I was waiting for you, that this is your second book, The Light of Days, and it has now been postponed for quite some time. What happened? When's it going to come out? How do you feel about it? What's the latest?
All right, let's talk. So obviously this has been like a devastating and very unpredictable situation, and for publishing as well. But really, we're always trying to decide what to do about the pub date. This was a conversation we've been having, and my UK publisher actually pushed the date back immediately as soon as this crisis hit. So I knew that this was a possibility in the works, but I think we were so excited to publish it. Myself, my editor, who's been amazing and supportive, that we were like, we're gonna push through. We're gonna do it. But you know what? I had this gut feeling last week. This is a book about Jewish women that fought the Nazis in Poland. It is about hundreds, if not thousands, of Jewish women. It is an untold history that has been kept secret, that has been hidden, that has been repressed and suppressed for decades. And I suddenly, I had this fear that this story would get lost again. And I was like, no, I have to tell this story. I wrote an email to my agent last week where I just was like, if I don't tell the story of Frunka Plotnicka, who was a 26-year-old Jewish woman, a leader of the underground in Poland. People called her Die Mame. In Yiddish, that's mom. I mean, she was like a strategic and emotional leader for hundreds of young Jews. She died clasping a pistol, smirking in a smoking shootout with Nazis in a provincial ghetto in Southwest Poland. And I was like, if I don't tell the world this story, which I found in Yiddish, who will? And we just at the end of the day felt like by moving the book out, it is a gamble, but at least there is a chance to be able to finally tell these stories and give these women their place in history that they really deserve.
Oh my God.
But it is a long time.
So when is the new pub date?
So the new pub date is April 6th, 2021. And that's actually the week of Yom HaShoah, which is the Jewish Holocaust Remembrance Day, which many people don't know is actually around, not exactly, but it's around the anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, which happened on Passover in 1943. And the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising is a big kind of narrative component of my story. One of the leaders was an amazing young Jewish woman. So it's an appropriate time, and hopefully this will give us, we don't know, but we're hoping that there will be a chance to maybe be able to do some events around that time.
Oh my gosh. But meanwhile, and I see the value in waiting, and hopefully a year from now, things will look very different than they do now with all of us, at home. But for an author like you, and you've worked so hard and so long on this book, and you are at the finish line, and now to be put on hold like this, do you feel, maybe you shouldn't talk about it publicly. I just feel like I would be crying. I would be like, I think I would be crying. Were you crying? No.
Oh, yes. There was a lot of crying. Look, there's a real world business decision, or, and then there's obviously the emotional experience, and they don't always coalesce well. I knew this was the right thing to do, but of course it's difficult. People always talk about the book release date. To me, it's the emotional release date. I'm I was anticipating that catharsis in 6 weeks, and now I have to hold on to it for another 9 months.
Oh my God.
Another whole pregnancy period of time. This was a very, very labor intensive book. It took me 6 weeks full-time, weekends, nights, just to do a first pass edit of the footnotes.
Oh my gosh.
So much work. So I've been, working so hard and so intensively, and building up to this date for such a long time. So of course
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I really am. I was excited for the book to come out. I was excited for you. I know how much goes into it and how like everybody looks forward to this one date to like, you know, and I'm just so sorry. I mean, I respect the decision, and whenever it comes out, it will be a success, and that's a great thing to know. But yeah, I mean, these are a lot of footnotes. I mean, look at these footnotes. These are of your book. Let me see how many pages are footnotes. You probably know this, but look, and even a bibliography, which by the way, I haven't written the word bibliography since like sixth grade. But anyway, 462. This is amazing. Almost 62 to 32. So 40, 70 pages of footnotes or so, right? Corey? Does that sound right? Yeah, insane. Oh, maybe there's more. Okay, anyway, whatever. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and energy, but it will be great when it comes out. And what about the movie? What's going on with that? Wasn't there supposed to be a?
I mean, it's been optioned by Amblin, which is Steven Spielberg's production company. It was optioned right from the start, right when I sold the book on proposal. So, but you know, everything is shut down now. Things just are in a pause. So when we talk next year around the new pub date, I'll be able to give you more information.
You know, it's so funny because when we had coffee, so we met when we had coffee, you were so frazzled, and you had all these deadlines for this book and the young version and this and that, and you were like so nice to have even like squeezed in a coffee with me, and you went like flying out the door to like go, and now everything is just like has stopped. Like, how are you doing just with this pace? I feel like you're like a go 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 type of person, and now none of us are going anywhere. How do you feel about it?
So I mean, this is relatively new. This is just really shifted in the past few days. So it's been difficult, but obviously it's like I'm making lists. I'm making lists of new plans and new projects and other things that I've been meaning to work on. And, you know, it takes some time to adapt to the change. I mean, I did ask I was like, does this mean I can edit the book again and go through it again and add more? And I cannot. Of course, like I'm never finished. I'm never finished. So that's, in some ways, that's emotionally the most difficult part for me. Like, oh my, I want to keep working on this. I want to make it even better. I want to, you know, there's all this time now suddenly. Let me go back into it. I cannot. So that's frustrating.
So how, and I didn't just mean like the last week, but in quarantine, the last 2 months, say, for instance, like how have you been coping with this change of pace? You know, being at home, are you able to relax? Are you working all the time? Are you reading? Are you writing? Like, how have you been dealing with stuff?
Thank you for asking. You know, I have 3 kids, one of whom is a baby. Two of whom are doing Zoom school. And I was trying to get as far as I can in a publicity campaign in a very difficult media climate. So I basically, up until a few days ago, have been still kind of working nonstop, while also reading the news all day and, you know, trying to protect and feed and take care of my family. And you know, I'm in Manhattan. I'm in an apartment, all 5 of us. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Yeah, this is not an easy time. Are you? I know from your first book how your preference is to have as little mess as possible, and that you said something so funny that like you could live in a gallery, like you'd rather if you could live in an art gallery, like that would be your preference, like that little furniture and everything. How are you dealing with like the environment, especially as a reaction to your own mother and her experience and your experience with her?
Well, I think you could tell my book was called White Walls, and I speak to you now from my bedroom, and you could see the white walls behind me, which now in Instagram I'm seeing look a bit yellow. But this is basically the only corner of my apartment that still looks like that, and partially like through things off the windowsill as well. There has been a lot of fort building, a lot of, I mean, we're eating, you know, we're in an apartment, 5 people eating all their meals here all day, lunch, snacks, breakfast. I mean, it's messy, and it's definitely challenging. I think I opened that book. I mean, I wrote that book so long ago. I open it when I need a moment to myself. I go to my shower, and I still go to the, my bathroom. My shower is kind of the, I need a me moment. So I still do that. I need to find my calm place.
There's an author who I love named Deborah Kopakin, and she posted on Instagram today a picture of herself in her shower as like #selfcare. Not like a naked picture or anything, but just like, the visual of like that is her only place to cope. And it's like the same for so many, but yeah.
I mean, there's for someone like me that I'm someone that I need alone time. It's hard. Even though I love my family, obviously.
Of course, yes, of course. Yeah.
Obviously.
That's why sometimes, I mean, this morning I woke up at 4 because there was this huge rainstorm and I was awake, and I was like, you know what? If I could just get out of bed now, I'll have like a guaranteed hour of quiet in the house. So I did it, which I'm regretting now. But sometimes I just need it so badly. I just need the space and the quiet and the time to like think and organize. And if I have to do it at 4 in the morning, then I have to do it at 4 in the morning. But I don't know. With everybody here, it's just, it's chaos. So, yeah. So I feel you. Anyway, this has become our therapy session.
We are hoping that by April, when the book comes out, things will be a bit more normalized and, yes. That will be a bit more that I'll really be able to tell this story properly and give it the airtime that it deserves.
Well, you are going to do a great job. This is going to be a huge book when it comes out, whenever it is, April of next year, April in 20 years. These women's lives, they will not be forgotten. I promise you. You have done it. They are preserved. This is their Bible in a way, and you have done it. So not to worry. And you'll come back and you'll come on the podcast in a year, and we'll talk about all the stuff that's happened since now. And it'll be like, can you believe what life was like back then? So
I hope so.
I hope. Not what. Okay. Well, I wish I could give you a hug, but I'm giving you a virtual hug. And
me too. I'm hugging you back. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, Judy.
Sei gesund.